Welcome back to the Renegade Report. I'm Francis Mayer, Sports Information Director for the most prestigious junior college athletic department in the known universe. And our baseball program is a big part of that. We've sent guys to the majors through the first round and many rounds after that. And many of them have actually played in the game, like Colby Lewis. That guy's pitched in a World Series. And he's actually, faithfully, he has pitched all over the world. He spent some time in Asia. But right now, we're going to talk to the guy who helped send him to the majors. That's Coach Tim Payton. Coach Payton, good morning.
Good morning, Francis. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Coach, how long have you been at BC now?
It's my 20th season.
Oh, congratulations.
Time flies.
Yeah, it does.
So, 20 years.
Definitely skips right past us. And you had a professional career before you got into the coaching ranks, right?
Yes, I did.
And where did you play?
Played collegiately at Fresno State, had the opportunity to play professionally, signed out of there with the Giants organization, was involved in a trade, went to the Angels, and played 3 seasons of minor league baseball.
How does that feel? And did it happen like Moneyball? Did the guy just come sit you down and...
No, those are big league guys. Minor league guys, you just get a letter and saying you've been traded, you're part of this trade, and away you go to a new spring training site. So
wow.
Completely different.
Yeah. But that's not all that's changed. In your day, you were a guy who had an excellent eye at the plate. I was looking at your page on Baseball Reference, and I noticed that you never, in your professional career, struck out more than you walked.
Well, I think the game has evolved. Back when I played, strikeouts were frowned upon. Put the ball in play, have a chance to get on base, force somebody to play defense. And in today's game, at the professional level, it's all about power. Mm-hmm. And our kids have grown up watching the game. Heck, I grew up watching a game of the week on Saturday. And now you can watch 5 baseball games a day on TV.
On your phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
And as our kids have watched Major League Baseball, strikeouts are not frowned upon anymore if you can put up power numbers.
No, and I remember when I was a young man, or a young person, I should say, you had guys like Dave Kingman and Rob Deere, and they were kind of buffoons. Sure, they hit 25, 30 home runs, but they struck out 180 times. It's like
Rob Deere was a minor league teammate of mine as a matter of
fact. Was he really?
He did that all the way through the minor leagues.
Did he?
Yeah. He was able to put up some power numbers and scrapped his way to the big leagues.
Absolutely. But about Deere, like then, he wasn't considered, I don't think, one of the preeminent players in the game, despite the power numbers, because like you said, he struck out maybe 1 out of every 3 at bats.
Yeah.
But now you're right. The game has changed, and that impacts your athletes. And how do you see that impacting the current Renegades, that hitting philosophy?
Well, our high school ballparks probably play as much a role in our kids coming out of high school, their hitting philosophy, as anything else. Kern County high school ballparks are relatively small. And
the bandboxes.
They really are. And so kids can put up big power numbers in high school using one side of the field and swinging big. They get into our ballpark, which is 340 down the lines. And
roomy.
It's deeper down the lines in our ballpark than any high school field in town.
What is it in the alleys? It's pretty deep in the alleys.
Yeah, it's
right?
deeper in the alleys, actually, than it is in dead center field.
Wow.
So it's a big ballpark, and it kind of negates that is necessary that our guys kind of adjust a philosophy of hitting, which we try and do with our guys. And, we're more about doubles and extra base hits because there's a ton of those in our ballpark.
Right. You know who I saw yesterday on campus? I saw Harker. And you watch him walk, and it's like that's exactly the ball player that guy is. Do you have big hopes for that guy?
Yeah, you know what? Hans is off to a very good start as a freshman. He's somebody that I've known since he was a little kid.
Oh,
and
wow.
We were kind of just waiting for Hans to grow because he was going to. His dad's a big man, mom's a tall lady, and he was kind of a late bloomer a little bit. And I still don't think he scratched the surface of his ability. He's 6'3", about 190 pounds, can run, can throw, can hit.
He's kind of long and fluid, too.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And he's going to continue to put on strength, and I think a year from now we're gonna look at somebody who's going to be a professional draft pick.
Oh, wow. That's so exciting. And that's one of the things that I think, you definitely have your dedicated core fans and excellent support. And, the Culver Fieldhouse is evidence of that. Your successful hot stove dinners are evidence of that. But I think the general public could really get a big charge out of Renegade Baseball because you guys do put people in the league.
Yeah, we do. We've been very fortunate. I think in my 20 years there, we've had about 70 players drafted professionally. We've sent, oh gosh, I don't know, 175 guys on to four-year schools. And the great thing for me is they're all local kids. Our roster year in and year out, I believe this year we have 34 players, 31 are Bakersfield High School athletes. And the other three are relatively close. We have one from Visalia, one from Tulare, and one from Lancaster. So, we are a local program. They're local athletes that were born and raised here. And, I just think that's the team we want to put on the field. We want to give those kids opportunity.
Coach, that's the team that I love to watch because I love seeing the Kern County All-Stars. There's nothing like the prep athletic scene in Bakersfield except for BC Athletics because they are the Kern County All-Stars, and you get to see guys. I mean, when I was filling out your roster online, actually, and I think there's 2 pictures we still need to fix. But anyway, the roster's up. It's at gogades.com. Take a look at this team. They're awesome. But there is a lot of Frontiers. There's a lot of Indies. And I usually, after the high school name, I have to put Bakersfield in parentheses. I stopped about 5 names in. I said, well, they're all Bakersfield. We'll flip it around. We'll just say who's from Visalia.
Yeah.
But you have had a lot of close games this season. Your team's kind of a heart attack squad.
Well, it is. And you know what? We've challenged this group. We have 22 freshmen. And going into this, we currently have played 8 top 10 schools in the state of our top 13 games, our first 13 games. And our record is really not indicative of how we've played. We lost an 11-inning game last weekend that was 0-0 after 9. We lost 2 ball games in the 8th or 9th inning that were tied 0-0 in the 7th. We just haven't been able to come up with timely hits at times, and that's going to turn for us.
No, it is going to turn because baseball is a terribly cruel and unforgiving game, and there have been some hard hit balls that were right at people, or just the law of averages hasn't caught up yet. But once we start catching some breaks, once the luck falls our way. Notice me saying "R." That's how much confidence I have in this team. I think you're absolutely right. I think some magic things are going to happen. I'm pretty excited about it. And as far as those extra inning games go, let's take a look at some highlights real quick, Chris, if you can. I think this is Coach. Feel free to chime in here. This is us versus Golden West. And Gianni Costi there single into center to plate a run. That's 2-0 Rustlers at this point. But here we get one back. There's the kid we were talking about.
Yep. Hans Harker walked. RBI.
And that made it 2-1, but then there, Brooks Douglas. Oh, what a catch. Nice kid, too.
Good defensive play.
Right here, I think that's Zach Tenner, and that's one of those doubles that you talked about, one of the benchmarks of Renegade Baseball. That's going to play to run. It's 3-2, and the Gades, I don't know if we get any closer in this game, but that was exactly the sort of offense that you're talking about. We had somebody on base. We hit a double into the spacious left field territory, and unfortunately we couldn't come back in that one, but that was 4-2. And Golden West, not a bad club, right?
They're a very good club.
Right.
It's probably the best offensive club we've played all season, and we did take a lead in a couple of those ball games, and offensively they're really good. Our bullpen wasn't able to shut them down late in games.
In your opinion, and I feel like this is a silly question, but I'm going to throw it at you anyway, is there an ace on our staff?
I really don't ever look at it that way.
Okay.
We have 2 guys that have experience. Alan Winans has been very, very good for us early in the season. He's got an ERA under 1 at this point and about 26 innings of work. And Joe Bresson is another third-year sophomore, was out last year with illness. And he has stepped up and really done some really good things this year for us. So those are the 2 guys with experience that we kind of lean on.
Yeah, and you have a good chance of seeing one of them pitch, and I can't get this out to the general public enough. If you love the old ball game and you like yourself a tri-tip sandwich, there's no better place to go than Collis Field. I mean, and when I say you're a baseball purist, you're going to see a kid like Alan Winans make pitches. You're going to see Bresson make pitches. You're going to see plays. You're going to see guys like you mentioned, Harker. I mean, I think Harrison Smith is really interesting. There's a lot of neat players that we might be watching for many years to come. But you talked about Alan Winans, and let's go back to the tape now. This is another game against Golden West, and this is when I believe this is when Winans had an absolute gem here. But we start off there. Josh Doan hits a single, and the runner's going to come around, and no. Can we truck the catcher, Coach?
No, we can't anymore in college baseball.
Oh.
It's an automatic ejection.
That's the Buster Posey rule.
Yes, it is.
Oh, but he gets a comebacker to the plate to retire him. And then it looks like we might have some. Oh, what a nice catch. And unfortunately, that was not made by someone wearing a red hat, so that ended the inning there. And that looks like a double. And that was after, was that on that? There was a bases loaded walk before that, wasn't there, Coach?
Yes, there was. This is game 2 where Golden West came back in the 10th inning, top of the 10th.
After what? Did Winans hold him?
He went nine innings, no runs, 3 hits. I believe he struck out 7 or 8.
That's a gem.
It is. And nothing ball game. We go into the 10th. Golden West scored 5. We answered that in the bottom of the 10th with 5. And our bullpen had some trouble in the 11th inning. We give up 3. The game ended with the tying run at the plate for us with runners at second and third. So I was proud of our guys that ball game. We fought back. It's easy to roll over when you get down 5-0 in the 10th inning with 3 outs remaining.
Yeah,
and,
with just 3 outs and a 5-run deficit, that's bad math.
Well, and we were able to put seven hits together in that bottom of the 10th inning, and we hadn't had 7 hits in 3 weeks, it doesn't seem like, combined. So I feel like that was kind of an inning that may jumpstart our ball club.
Oh, that's exciting, Coach. And I know you said that there have been some bats that do need to wake up on the team.
Absolutely. We have Hans Harker's been very consistent for us for the most part. Anthony Avila, a freshman out of Tulare Western, has done the same for us. But it's been spotty in other places. And so if we can get some offensive consistency going a little bit, I think we have a chance to be a very good offensive club too. We've really pitched and played pretty good defense up to this point. And it's not that we need to score 10 runs. If we score 5, we're going to win.
No, I completely agree with that assessment. And going back to that last extra innings loss, if memory serves, the reliever you brought in, is he a lefty? I don't think he'd given up an earned run until that little blow up.
Yeah, and you know what? He came in and didn't have very good command of pitches that night and walked a couple guys. We brought in a right-hander who had no ERA on the season, and he did the same thing, walked a guy, hit a guy, bring in the third pitcher of the inning, and he's a guy that has been used, Connor Smith, as a starter for us. And Connor kind of threw gasoline on the fire that inning. So we just didn't pitch well out of the bullpen that night. And, you get into an 11th inning in a tie ball game, there's a little more pressure there than they've dealt with probably earlier this season. So we'll grow from that and get better because of it.
Awesome. And I do know that is a scenario that does seem like young nerves to me, and it's popped up a couple times where the old walks will haunt, where we've let off an inning with maybe a walk or 2 or a hit batsman, and it's unfolded kind of as you would expect it to.
Yeah.
Once you get a runner on second base with no outs, there's quite a few ways to score.
Well, things get magnified. I think for our freshmen, they're seeing a different game from an offensive standpoint than they saw in high school.
And more sophisticated?
Well, no. I think in a general high school lineup, you have 3 hitters that you really have to bear down on as a pitcher or a defense. And there's usually, and I'm not faulting a high school lineup, but there's 5 or 6 guys that usually get themselves out. And
swinging at bad pitches.
Yeah, and at our level, you may have a 8 or 9 hitter in a JC lineup that was a 3-4 hitter in high school.
Oh, wow.
And so you're pitching to 9 guys and 9 guys that can hurt you. And so the game evolves from an offensive standpoint, I think, with better offense up and down a lineup.
Right, and that's exhausting for a pitcher when you can't, in the National League, of course, the Major League level, you can maybe, I don't think they take any batters off, but like you said, you've got the pitcher to look forward to. Yeah. But here at BC now, these guys are facing a rotation of 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, inning to inning. It seems like my thinking would be, and I think that the easiest outcome for this would be for those nerves to settle down, and this Renegade baseball team to be a last 2/3 team, if you will, because we're nowhere near the halfway point, and we do have a lot more baseball to play this season.
Oh, absolutely, and I really do. I think our preseason has prepared us to go into conference this next week. One of the things that we did, we played 6 straight games on the road. That's not easy to do in baseball.
No, you were telling me like that. And these guys got to go to school too,
right?
And sleep.
It's not a once-a-week sport. We're playing 3 games a week minimum in the preseason, but we played 6 straight over 2 weeks on the road. And we saw the effects of that. And my thinking is we're going to get on a bus. We don't play anybody close by. It's a 2-hour trip pretty much everywhere we go, and we have to learn to be able to get off a bus and perform. And I think that 6-game stretch will help us as we move into conferences next week.
From your pro career, are there any tips to making bus travel better? Do you have like a sleeping mask? Do you have any snacks?
Gosh, I had teammates that could sleep on a bus. I never could.
Okay.
I was a guy that seemed to be always tired because I would sleep when I got to a hotel. But they can't complain about bus rides at BC because if they want to play professional baseball, they've got a lot of bus trips ahead of them.
Well, they do. And not only that, hey, we do things with style, right?
We do.
Our whole program is pretty awesome, but we couldn't do it without our friends in the community, the people that help us out, and the folks who donate to the foundation and donate to your baseball program. I know that you do a lot of things, and you're one of those coaches that's kind of an exemplar in the program. You do your Christmas tree sale, and you have your other fundraisers, and it seems like you do everything you can to make sure the program's tip-top and the field is tip-top, and I thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
Coach Payton, we look forward. When is your next home game, sir?
Oh, gosh, we're on the road. We open up with 3 conference road games this next week, Tuesday,
traveling
Thursday, Saturday.
Renegades.
So
Okay.
I haven't looked past next week.
No,
I
Coach,
do
I
know
understand
that we're on the road Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday next week, and open up conference at Citrus College at 2 o'clock on Tuesday.
And, of course, your schedule is online at gogades.com, and fans can always like us, Bakersfield College Athletics, on Facebook, and ask us any specific questions they have, and there's a ticket purchasing tab right there, or, of course, you can do it and have one of Ray Miranda's famous sandwiches on site. Coming up next, we're going to switch from the diamond to the hardwood, but not baseball bats, baseball courts. Coach Rich Hughes is here, and Coach Paula Dahl is here. We're going to hear from, I don't want to say the horse's mouth, how about the architect's mouths themselves? Playoff runs to continue or playoff runs coming to an end? That's next on the Renegade Report.